coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor. This is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening. I'm Albert Sharp, and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. Sunday afternoon, the Windsor-Essex County District School Board reported no active cases of COVID-19. There was an investigation following an identified exposure to the virus. Students were dismissed from Stella Maris Elementary School and St. Thomas of Villanova High School last Friday. They have been cleared to return to school today. In Ontario, more than 1,500 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported over the last 2 days. The backbone of every community is small business. Tyler Clapp reports on how entrepreneurs in Windsor are staying strong in these troubling times.
Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, downtown businesses are making an impact. Delna Bihariwala is a co-owner with Trishana Linton of Cookup Inc. Their business helps female food entrepreneurs. They have continued growing after getting one business started in June.
And then in July, we expanded to 2 booths at the market, so 2 of our businesses. And then 2 weeks after that, we had 3.
Aside from helping others pursue their goals and creating new jobs, other businesses like Easy Mode Esports Lounge are bringing fun and new experiences to people in the downtown area. Co-owner Stephen Chowdy opened Easy Mode in 2019 with Dean Hayes and Matt Dealer-Snyder to make a place for gaming.
So you can come in, you can sit on a couch, play some video games with your friends, while also getting food and drinks at the same time.
So it just shows, even during the pandemic, the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. For MediaPlex News, I'm Tyler Clapp.
A local women's shelter is celebrating their 30th anniversary and are looking to raise some money. Tristan Zuderveen talks with Randy Lynn Miller in this edition of 3 Minutes With.
Today we are joined by Randy Lynn Miller from the Welcome Center Shelter. She is the 30/30 campaign coordinator. First of all, Randy Lynn, can you tell us a little bit about the shelter?
Yeah. So the Welcome Center Shelter for Women and Families is an agency in Windsor dedicated to providing safe emergency shelter and transitional supports to women and families experiencing or at risk of homelessness in Windsor-Essex. We provide services including drop-in programming, women-centric food bank, and harm reductive services.
Can you tell us a little bit about the 30/30 campaign?
So 30/30 is our online peer-to-peer fundraiser with a goal of raising $30,000 in honor of our 30th anniversary. And so all proceeds from this fundraiser will go directly to the funding of our newest initiative called Patsy's Place.
What is Patsy's Place?
So Patsy's Place is an on-site portable classroom that we've already purchased, and this space will act as a multi-use space to serve the children and families that we house right now. So it will include programming such as educational programming for the kids, recreational programming, childcare, counseling and support space for the caregivers, and then also a meeting space for other community agencies to come in and meet with our clients and staff.
Okay, so how can people participate in the fundraiser?
So we're asking our community supporters to donate if they can. Right on our online website, it's a really simple, takes about 30 seconds to go in and make a donation. You can also go online and sign up as a fundraiser yourself. So you would collect donations from your own network to support us, or also as a team with the workplace or group. If you're not in a financial place to donate, totally understandable. I mean, COVID is a weird time right now. So we're just asking people just to talk about it, because this is an initiative that's going to affect our community, and it's really important for us to get the word out. So if you could share our posts on social media or just talk about it with your friends and family, that would be extremely helpful.
Can you tell us again the website and the contact information?
Yes, so our website is 3030.welcomecentershelter.com, and our contact information, you can email with any questions, info@welcomecentershelter.com.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, I would love to add that we just reached $29,000 of our goal, so that leaves us with just $1,000 left. And we have 3 weeks to raise this amount. So I would just love if, if people would talk about it and tell their friends and family, and hopefully we can come together and reach this goal by the end of October.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day for us. Thank you.
Thanks.
With back-to-school fees just behind us and holidays just around the corner, Siddharth Krishna talks turkey when it comes to spending and savings.
Hello, my name is Siddharth Krishna and welcome to the Money Minute. Today I'll tell you how to save money as a student. Keep your habits in check. If you're not aware of the toll your habits take on you, you might have to pay a hefty price, literally. For example, if you're a chain smoker, you'll be spending about $264 annually. Not so infinitesimal now, is it? Resist the temptation to eat out. Learn to cook your own meals, although there's nothing more alluring than a convenient restaurant takeaway after a long day at work. Those can be quite expensive. I recommend buying your groceries in bulk near the end of the week. Plan your spending. There's nothing more detrimental to a student than mindless splurging. Having a set budget for every month or week helps keep your impulses in check. It also helps you prioritize your spendings. Get a job. Unless you're notoriously affluent, you might want to work as a part-time employee. Apart from the financial stability that you attain, you'll also acquire valuable professional know-how. So watch your spending and you might have something left for Christmas. Be wise, Windsor. I'm Sid.
Baseball cards were once considered a popular item and the staple of childhood. But in this report, there are many factors that suggest that may not be the case anymore. So what is behind the decline of the once popular baseball cards? Bird Bouchard has the story.
Once upon a time, there was a thrill of riding bikes to the corner drugstore, buying packs of wax, and ripping them open in the parking lot. Children were constantly on the hunt for the Donruss Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, and despite buying 100 or more packs, the case would end up fruitless. Collectors from the past will often share memories of how sports cards were a staple of their childhood. Whether it was Mickey Mantle's rookie card or a Wayne Gretzky with a stale piece of bubblegum stuck to it, the cards bring back memories. But 21st century kids have other things on their mind. During the first 3 years of the 1990s, when the baseball trading card industry was at its hottest, it generated more than $1 billion annually. By 2017, that number fell to a chilly $200 million.
And we didn't treat the cards with the respect they do nowadays. We used to throw them against walls to play closies to see who won all the cards.
Robert Sumner previously owned a sports card shop. He enjoyed many successful years selling sports cards to people of all ages. But there was one thing that stood out behind his decision to close his shop doors more than 5 years ago.
Has eBay changed the game? Has it changed it for the better or for the worse?
For the worse. They killed the local hobby stores because it's so cheap to buy it on eBay. And because it's a more competitive market, that drives the price down when there's more people selling. Not if there's only a couple of people that I can buy from in Windsor, then I spend decent prices and keep the hobby stores going, because then they can afford to buy the boxes of cards, which, like I said, because of the materials in the cards have gone up in price. So it's made it very, very hard to keep the cost down. The cost is just high. It's very high.
Much like Sumner, Jeremy Reynolds first started collecting as a kid. He would often spend his Canadian summers playing road hockey and admiring the many great players of his era, such as Wayne Gretzky and Bobby Orr.
But back in the day, we might have breakfast, but what we do is we get out our homemade nets, we get our sticks, we go either down the street or in our own driveway, we'd play with people and we just play all day. And we play all night. And then we might eat, and then we might scrounge for money, and we might go to the corner store and buy cards. right? And it was just that our passion for the sport and our love for hockey just kept going and going. And to us, collecting was fantastic.
As with many non-digital commercial trends, card collecting started to wane around the 90s. That decade's cards aren't worth much today, largely due to card companies overprinting. When demand for cards increased during that time, so did supply. But as supply increased to unthinkable levels and demand started to fall, the bottom fell out of the market. The chase for Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards no longer brought a big enough thrill to go to the stores. Thus, the value of cards dropped, and kids were now left with boxes of cards. Mothers then shoved these cards into big cardboard boxes, where they'd sit and gather dust for the next 25 years. This is known as the junk wax era, an era the sports card industry is still trying to overcome. But why is it that the price of cards are currently skyrocketing? Many say this is largely due to the popularity of players. Whether it be the latest Chicago Bulls documentary highlighting the legacy of Michael Jordan, or any other sporting event, players are constantly in the spotlight. Sport card collectors can now pull game-worn jersey cards, autographs, and much more from almost any given pack. Long gone are the days where sports cards are thrown against walls, or stuck in the wheels of bicycles to sound cool. Today's cards are commodities to buy, sell, and trade, and prices prove it.
This one is $500. This is a Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a player that came into the league last year.
Frank Safu will be celebrating his first year as card shop owner at the end of April. He's been collecting, trading, and selling sports cards for more than 25 years. From the junk wax days to pulling cards as rare as $6,000, Safu has seen it all. He believes because of the wide range of products available, kids will continue to collect. In fact, he believes they will save the hobby.
When I see kids walk in here, and I don't mean anything wrong by it, I pay more attention to what they want, what they ask. I make sure I answer every question. Because not only as a collector, I like to see my hobby grow and survive, but as a store owner, this is the customer of the future.
Jeremy Reynolds' love and passion for the hobby has led him to an interesting role, a role where he can now have a direct impact on growing the sports card hobby, something he claims is important for its survival. He has recently been named the general manager of Canada's largest sports memorabilia and trading card expo. Among his long list of duties, Renault is in constant communication with some of the hobby's biggest manufacturers. And much like Safu and Sumner, Renault also believes the importance of getting kids into the hobby.
Say if my dad actually had a raw Bobby Orr and it was beat up, but my dad got it and he gave it to me and I gave it to my son, and that was a generation that passed down. I'd rather my son appreciate the industry that way than to get into it knowing right away, cards are based on value and perceived value.
Ironically, the same internet may also save the card industry. Information on cards is now available within seconds, and collectors can purchase cards from all around the globe. Every day, collectors from the past are rediscovering the hobby. People are exploring their basements and attics and hoping to find lost treasure. And whether or not they come up empty-handed, one thing is for sure. There's still a future in the cards.
October is a month where we can expect the unexpected, especially when it comes to weather. Let's have a look at our 3-day forecast. Wednesday, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 17 degrees. Thursday, back to rain with a chance of showers and a high of 16 degrees. And finally, on Friday, there'll be a chance of showers and a high of 11. Many people live with chronic pain and suffer in silence. But as Nadia Butler tells us, there is no shame in asking for help.
We begin our journey to life with innocence, free from knowledge, free from fear, free from pain. We don't ask for the cards we're dealt. We know nothing about genetics or health or life or money. All we know is love, dependency, trust. And then we were born.
Jake was a surprise baby. I had gotten rid of everything the month previous to finding out I was pregnant, so I will never do that again. My pregnancy was very rocky after about 16 weeks, and from that point, I went into early labor around 23 weeks, and I was told that my child had a very low percent of survival, and that we may not come home with a baby.
Amy's son, Jake, was diagnosed with a rare disease called macrocephaly capillary malformation, or MCM, when he was 10 months old. MCM is a multiple malformation syndrome causing abnormal body and head overgrowth and cutaneous, vascular, neurologic, and limb abnormalities.
So when he was born, we had difficulties during delivery, and then when he failed his hearing test in hospital, I did wonder if he was broken because he did not cry. After he was born, he cried, but after that he did not cry. For 3 days, he didn't know, it was days, he did not cry.
People living with chronic physical conditions often experience emotional stress and chronic pain, which are both associated with the development of depression and anxiety. It's not surprising that people with chronic physical conditions often self-report poor mental health.
Because when somebody's sick, it brings everybody down around them. It brings life to a halt. I've had people lose their jobs because of things. I've had people lose their marriages, their relationships, not just with their spouses, but their kids. I've had patients who say, look, this is my last hope. If I can't get fixed, I'm going to end things. And they're serious.
The altered mental state with those suffering from chronic pain and medical problems affects both the sufferer and the people around them. The ripple effect causes depression, sleep disturbances, frustration, and fatigue. People often have trouble concentrating, a decrease in appetite, and severe mood changes. These negative changes in lifestyle can increase the person's pain and dampen their overall mood. This spirals into a lack of self-worth, an inability to live, work, go to school, and cause overwhelming financial struggles.
So the first year was the hardest because that's when we were really trying to piece together the most part of how much his body was affected. So we spent a lot of time at sick kids. Some months would look at anywhere from 6 to 12 appointments in a month, and we're talking that's, it's stressful because I have older kids that have to go to school. They have to miss school, or I have to find alternative care for them.
Dr. Craig Schisler is a chiropractor and pain specialist in Windsor. He says his clinic deals with mostly spinal problems and difficult cases.
I'm not your average sprains or strains or things like that, but we see people who are in real pain, people that have been through other things, other types of treatments, chiropractic treatment, physiotherapy, even some surgeries. We've had patients who have had hardware in there and they just didn't get the results that they wanted. So they end up here. And because of the way we do things, quite a different approach, we're able to get results in most cases where others haven't.
Dr. Schisler's goal is to restore people to normal life non-surgically. His clinic uses modern technology to treat herniated discs, spinal stenosis, sciatica, and carpal tunnel syndrome.
Our approach is each patient is different. So we take patients on a case-per-case basis and make a proper diagnosis of what's going on and then a proper treatment plan. And some of the modalities that we use our main one is, chiropractic is our main one because we want that nervous system working and communicating with the body so that things can heal properly. And we also use a technology called non-surgical spinal decompression, where we're able to address individual discs and create a little vacuum in there. And that vacuum draws in water, nutrients, and oxygen from surrounding tissues to rehydrate and rebuild the disc. So what happens, say in the case of sciatica, we get a disc bulge that puts a pressure on the nerve root inside the spine. We're able to gently move that disc bulge away from the nerve root, freeing it up so it can heal. And at the same time, it restores the disc so we get some stability in there so that we actually fix the problem. So instead of, surgically going in and scraping things out and hoping for the best, what we do is we use physics and we get your own body to heal. So safer, longer lasting.
Chronic pain is an unpredictable condition because symptoms can be irregular and unexpected. Parents describe having a child with chronic pain as being extremely difficult. Activities are dictated by the child's condition, and families are expected to be flexible when it comes to planning social events, vacations, and everyday commitments.
I wish my kid could do normal things, and I don't know what the future holds, right? I don't want to say I have jealousy. Maybe I envy them more. Like I'm like, oh, you're freaking lucky you get to do that, or they can take more risks.
Unfortunately, there is no cure for Jake's condition.
A few years ago, I went out for dinner, Italian restaurant, nice food, and my family's with me. And so I walk in, and there's a huge family party, and the guy sitting at the head of the table was the matriarch of the family, and he was a patient. And his daughter got up from the table, and she came over and she said, Dr. Schisler, I just want to thank you for giving us our father back. And I mean, wow, that's how it affects things. It's not just that patient you're affecting, it's their families, it's the whole community.
Chronic pain affects 20% of all Canadians and 15 to 39% of children. With numbers as high as these, how are we expected to cope?
When you lose hope, the world really narrows, and it's hard to see outside of yourself, and you face inwards. At that point where you're not able to live, where you're not able to gain enjoyment from things anymore, even the things that you used to love, something's shifted in there.
Rare is amazing. Jake's journey has taught us all a little something about life. However, the main thing it has taught us is to live in the moment.
There's an answer for everything. There's a reason for everything, and I believe there's a solution for everything too. We just gotta look to find it. But we're not meant to do it alone. We're not meant to go on this journey alone. Like, ask for help. There are people around you who do love you. May not seem that way all the time, but they're there, and believe me, the way that we are as human beings is we're good. We want people to be well. We want to have fun with people. We want to help each other, lift us up, and that's what makes society so great.
So help us. Spread the word. Help us help Jake by celebrating little things like Rare Disease Day, which is on the last day of February.
So ask for help.
What was once a popular Windsor stage for local musicians located in Jackson Park has fallen into disarray over the last few decades. But as Madeline Mazak explains, one Facebook group is dedicating itself to resurrecting the old and forgotten structure.
I played on that band shell in 1972, and that's quite a few years ago. Things have really changed. It doesn't look as modern and cleaned up as it was back then, but it's not too bad. We came out on stage, it was our turn to play. We came out on stage, and there's a microphone stand over here, one right here, and the band's all ready and set up to play. And I go up to the microphone with my hands on my electric guitar, both hands, and I go, "Hey, everybody!" And the microphone, it felt like a pair of pliers grabbed my face because I got a shock like you wouldn't believe it. Because I was standing in a puddle of water.
Gosh.
And knocked me back. My eyes were watering, and and then we just played.
But everyone was out here because this was the show that ended the summer.
End of the summer for the people that were here, but the end of the summer for the people playing in the bands too.
Yeah.
We went to school 2 days later.
I decided to go to the local history library to learn more. If the band shell once meant so much to so many people, why is it forgotten today? On September 2nd, 1972, Scotty and his band, The Galleon, competed in the Battle of the Bands. Thousands of people weathered the storms that night to watch the competition. Labor Day weekend in Windsor back then meant one thing: the Firefighters Field Day, an annual fundraiser for the Firefighters Benefit Fund. A parade down Olette Avenue ended in Jackson Park for a weekend of celebrations, drawing out thousands of people. But the band shell we see today is not the original. It is the replica of the original band shell that, ironically, burnt down in a devastating fire alongside Windsor's grandstand in 1957. wondered if anyone else in Windsor wanted to see the bandshell restored as well.
My name's Sarah Lestage, and I'm heading the group of individuals looking to have the Jackson Park bandshell repurposed. It was covered in different just trash, refuge from the landscaping that was being done in Jackson Park. I really didn't expect the kind of response that I got with over 1,000 likes in just over a month. I also had people reaching out, asking to volunteer, even just to come clean up the space. Ideally, I'd love to see Jackson Park bandshell brought back to life for public and community use. I'm really optimistic to see this happen.
Having worked at Fog Lounge for almost a year now, I've become familiar with Windsor's music scene. I decided to reach out to some musicians to see what they thought.
My name is Zach Vivier.
I'm the bass player in Hutch.
I'm Sebastian App. I'm the guitar player and lead vocalist in Hutch.
Robbie Survey, the drummer in Hutch.
Is this thing on?
As a musician, you see like a stage and you just see like a potential like instantly, even if it's like run down, you're just like, you know, a coat of paint and this thing's ready to go. Just get a PA and a coat of paint and you're all set.
Yeah,
right?
man, it would be fun, but a little DIY.
Like that park and that area, it's just like screaming for like something cool to happen there. Like, I don't know, like as a band, like it just feels really good to play outside. Like it's kind of like a different feeling and it's really nice. And then like I love watching shows outside. Like we played like the Island Unplugged and everyone has like their own fold-up chairs.
Yeah.
And they just kind of sit around and everyone's having a good time, and like something like that could even happen at the bandshell and people would love it. Like growing up, you know, like the older I got, it was like more people just saying that Windsor was like boring and there was nothing to do. And I think we kind of found something to do in the music scene and we're like, oh, like shows are fun and that's something to do. So we never were bored, but like to have a stage and to have like a pretty good like run of events going, I think, you know, people wouldn't really think that anymore, and I think that's why people are excited, is because it's like the potential for something to do.
Yeah, the memories at the stage, I have a few. They're rock and roll show memories. I made a lot of friends. Right here, this is where it starts. You could fit 5,000 people here, and more on the bleachers. There could be 5,000 people viewing an event off the stage.
That would be amazing.
It'd be thrilling.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Albert Sharp, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.